Feelings intoxicate you, they seduce you. Feelings sedate you, they lull you into sleep. They are the anesthesia of the human being. Feelings are the great narcotic of mankind. They are the needle through which the human being injects illusion into his bloodstream. You think you are alive when you feel. You think you are awake when you cry, when you laugh, when you fall in love, when you are angry. But you are merely being stimulated. A rat pressing a lever for dopamine. Every feeling, joy, sorrow, excitement, romance, is nothing but a chemical event in the body. It is the nervous system's way of entertaining itself. It is the dream keeping you from waking up. You call it passion, you call it empathy, you call it love. But it is all the same thing, a movement away from stillness. For stillness terrifies you because in stillness there is no you, there is no story, no heartbeat of emotion, no drama to keep the ego alive. So you seek feelings the way a junkie seeks heroin. To feel sad is better than to feel nothing. To feel anxious is better than to face the void. Even pain gives you the comfort of identity. I am someone who suffers. And thus, the human being spends his life oscillating between pleasure and pain, never once realizing that both are the same rope, different ends of the same noose. To awaken is to stop seeking anesthesia, to see every feeling arise and die without sipping from it, to refuse the drink. And when the last drop of intoxication leaves your system, you will discover that what you called numbness was never numbness. It was freedom. Freedom from the chemistry of illusion, freedom from the hypnosis of emotion, freedom from yourself. Feelings are the anesthesia of the human being. Just like anesthesia numbs pain while surgery happens, feelings numb the deeper ache, the ache of not knowing who you are. When you are angry, romantic, ecstatic, jealous, proud, heartbroken, your mind is occupied. You don't have to face the terrifying emptiness underneath. You are sedated, comfortably unconscious. You mistake this sedation for living, but it is just the mind keeping itself asleep, busy, medicated by feelings. Excitement tells you that there is something to chase. Sadness tells you there is a depth in your suffering. Pleasure tells you life has meaning, and you buy it. You sip from the cup again and again. The intoxication continues. The intoxication continues because you cannot stand the vastness of what you are. The mind cannot tolerate the infinite, so it builds a playground. It fills that playground with colors and sensations, love, excitement, despair, victory. And you run from swing to swing, convincing yourself that you are living. You are not living, you are being entertained. Every feeling is a diversion from the void. Love whispers, you are not alone. Excitement whispers, there is something to chase. Sadness whispers, there is depth in you. Pleasure whispers, life has meaning. And the fool believes each whisper. He sips from the cup again and again. He feels the rush, the high, the movement. And the moment the chemical fades, he goes back for another sip. That is what you call life. It is not life. It is an intravenous drip of emotion. A chemical intravenous keeping the ego alive. The ego does not want peace. It does not want truth. It wants continuity. It wants movement. It wants to feel. Because to feel is to exist. And to exist, even in pain, is preferable to dissolving into the silence. The silence is the death of the you. So the mind invents feelings to protect itself from that death. Every time you feel something, you reinforce the illusion that you are someone. I am in love. I am sad. I am angry. I am spiritual. Each sentence is a needle injecting me deeper into the bloodstream. And this is why the intoxication continues. Because you are addicted not to pleasure, not to emotion, not to life. You are addicted to your own existence. The drug is not love or excitement or sorrow. The drug is the self. And as long as you sip from the cup of feeling, you will never taste the silence in which the self dies. That silence is not empty. It is the only thing that is real. When a feeling enters you, it is not some mystical wave descending from heaven. It is a chemical event in your flesh. Understand this. When you fall in love, when you feel hurt, when you burn with anger, the body releases small squirts of chemicals into your bloodstream. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol, norepinephrine. A pharmacy inside your skull begins to operate. Each molecule has a job. One sharpens attention, one quickens the pulse, one brings warmth to the chest, one clouds the thought. The heart beats faster, Breathing shifts, muscles tense, neurons fire in familiar circuits, replaying old patterns. The body becomes a stage, the mind the actor. And because the chemical makes you feel different from ordinary, you call that life. You mistake chemistry for meaning. You mistake a surge of neurotransmitters for depth, for passion, for purpose. This is the intoxication. It seduces you because the high is delicious. It sedates you because it keeps you numb to what lies beneath. It lulls you because the noise of the chemicals drowns out the silence that would expose your emptiness. Every feeling is the nervous system saying, don't look there, don't look into the void. So the body keeps dripping its own anesthesia, keeping you asleep but dreaming vividly. If you could sit absolutely still, without running to thought, without tasting emotion, you would feel those chemicals begin to settle. The tides of dopamine and cortisol would flatten, the stage lights would dim, and what would remain is terrifyingly ordinary silence, spaciousness, nothingness. That nothingness is not depression, it is not boredom, it is reality unfiltered by chemistry. But the human being cannot stand it, so he runs back into the storm, begging for another hit of feeling. He calls it love, he calls it ambition, he calls it life. Yet, all the while, it is only the body's drug keeping him comfortably unconscious, lulled by the sweet hum of his own biochemistry. Listen carefully. This is the trap. You feel something excitement, love, pride, anger, and suddenly you are different from ordinary. Your pulse rises, your chest swells, your mind races. The world appears sharper, brighter, more urgent. You think, ha, I am alive. This is life. But what is happening is not life. It is your body and brain firing chemicals in old familiar circuits. Dopamine lights up. Norepinephrine quickens your heart. Oxytocin floods the chest. Your nervous system is lit, that is all. You are a chemical storm. The mind does not know the difference between real meaning and neurochemical drama. It sees intensity and says, this is important, this is me, this is life. It confuses feeling alive with actually being awake. That is intoxication. You are drunk on your own body. You are drunk on your own self. You mistake movement of chemicals in the bloodstream for depth, for passion, for purpose. You call it love. You call it achievement. You call it art. You call it life itself. But it is only your nervous system pretending, throwing sparks to keep you entertained, so that you do not face the emptiness underneath. The ordinary, the stillness, the silence is terrifying. So you grab at the extraordinary, the chemical high, and say, this is life, this is me. And the cycle continues. This is why humans are addicted to feeling, because to feel different is to forget the void. And the mind will do anything to forget the void. Listen, this is subtle but crucial. Feelings are not truths, they are not reality, they are chemical events, electrical storms inside your nervous system. When I say they are the needle through which the human being injects illusion into his bloodstream, I mean this. You are terrified of emptiness, you are terrified of the silence of existence. So the mind, in its cunning, creates feelings, love, pride, anger, excitement, sorrow. Each feeling is like a syringe. It injects a rush of chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, directly into your system. And with it comes an illusion. I am alive, I am important, I am something. But you are not. The intoxication is illusory life. It is the ego pretending that the chemical storm in the body is reality. It seduces you, it occupies you, it convinces you that you are living, while the truth, the vast silence, the void, the unknowable self remains untouched. Untouched because you are too busy sipping from your own blood drug. Every feeling is a veil. Every surge of emotion is a story. And as long as you drink from that cup, you will never see the nakedness of being. The human being does this instinctively. He wants to feel, because to feel is to avoid the horror of emptiness, the silence of what is. You are not experiencing life, you are experiencing your nervous system keeping itself entertained while the truth goes unrecognized. This is why feelings are the greatest narcotic. They are self-administered anesthesia for the fear of existence. Listen carefully. This is the knife cutting through illusion. Feelings are not real. They are shadows on the wall, chemical shadows. They flicker and dance, but there is no substance behind them. When I say they come and go, I mean exactly that. One moment, your chest is on fire with desire. The next, it is cold and empty. One moment, the world shines in gold. The next, it is grey and meaningless. This is the nature of the mind's theatre. Feelings are weather, storms, sunshine, clouds, lightning, but nothing permanent, nothing real. The man who lives for how he feels, he's a slave. Not to other men, not to society, not to circumstance. He is a slave to his own body, his own chemistry. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, norepinephrine, they rise and fall. They make him euphoric, depressed, anxious, lustful, proud, guilty. And he believes that these fluctuations are life. No, they are chemical events in a meat machine. You are not alive because your chest races. You are alive when the nervous system is silent and you see what is. When you chase feelings, you are living on the surface of a chemical reaction inside your skull. You are not touching reality. You are not touching life itself. You are dancing with shadows. You are a puppet, and the strings are your own neurotransmitters. This is why freedom from feeling is the only freedom worth having. Not to suppress, not to numb, not to deny, but to see through the illusion, to recognize that all that heat, all that fire, all the drama, it is only a chemical storm pretending to be life. And when you stop being entertained by it, when you stop chasing it, then you taste the silence in which life itself shines. This is what the master means. Feelings are weather. You are not the weather. You are the sky in which it passes. Listen, this is subtle, but it is the truth no one wants to hear. The man who lives for how he feels, he is a slave, but not to the obvious masters, not to money, not to woman, not to fame. Those are easy to see and easy to fight against. No, his chains are invisible. He is a slave to his own body, to his own chemistry, to the rise and fall of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol, to the nervous system firing circuits that he did not design, cannot control, and does not understand. One moment he is proud, he feels alive. The next moment shame creeps in, he feels dead. He is tossed about by electrical storms in his own skull, and he calls it life. He is a puppet, and the strings are his own biochemistry. The master he serves is himself, but he does not even know it. He calls it love, he calls it passion, he calls it anger, names for the chemical injections in his bloodstream. And because he cannot see it, he lives a life of constant reaction. He reacts to his own feelings, he reacts to the world, he reacts to other people, all the while thinking he is making choices. But the choices are already made by the chemicals in his body. This is slavery, invisible, unrecognized, but total. He is at the mercy of every surge, every lull, every storm his nervous system produces. Freedom is seeing this. Freedom is recognizing that the feeling is a shadow, that the pulse of the nervous system is not you, and that you can watch it without being swept away. Then, and only then, do you stand unchained. Feelings are not solid, permanent truths. They are just the temporary after effects of brain chemistry like hormones, neurotransmitters, electrical signals. Like shadows, they appear, shift, and fade. Not something you can fully hold on to. They are like weathers. Storms come, the sun comes out, clouds move, but none of it stays. Feelings are passing reflections of brain chemistry, not the ultimate reality. They don't define you, they just happen, like weather moving through the sky. Feelings are not real, they are chemical shadows. They come and they go. They are weather, nothing more. The man who lives for how he feels is a slave. He will forever be at the mercy of circumstance, of biology, of dopamine and serotonin. He will be forever managed by the world, forever toyed with by the ups and downs of his own body and mind. When you chase feelings, you are no longer living life itself. You are living in service of a chemical reaction inside your skull. Any feeling comes and it will also go, because your feeling is not real. It is not a mountain. It is not the ocean. It does not exist as a permanent thing. A feeling is a passing ripple in the nervous system. It is the result of a chemicals firing in the brain, hormones shifting in the blood, thoughts colliding in the mind. A feeling is like a wave that passes through your body. It happens because the brain releases certain chemicals, hormones in your blood change, thoughts bump into each other and create reactions. All of this together makes you feel happy, sad, angry, calm, or anything else. But just like a ripple in water, the feeling rises, moves, and then fades away. Feelings are temporary body reactions, not permanent truths. And anything born of chemistry, circumstance, or thought must die when chemistry changes, when circumstance shifts, when thought dissolves. Listen, what you call feeling is not some sacred message from heaven. It is a twitch in the machinery, a momentary ripple in a sea of flesh and electricity. When you say I am happy, what has happened? A few neurons fired. Dopamine spilled into a synapse. A gland secreted a bit of hormone into your bloodstream. The body lit up for a few minutes, that is all. When you say I am sad, cortisol rises. Serotonin falls. The nervous system slows its rhythm. The body tightens. The mind narrates a story. That is all. But you, the human being, take this passing ripple and you build a home upon it. You say, I am this, I am how I feel, and thus begins the delusion. Because every feeling that is born must die, every wave that rises must fall. No emotion has ever stayed, not one. They come, they go, like clouds passing through a sky that never moves. So, when I tell you that feelings are not real, I mean they have no substance of their own. They are reactions, not reality. They are the body's reflexes to thought, memory, and circumstance, nothing more. To live according to them is to live in servitude to wind and weather. It is to let the nervous system decide your peace. It is to let chemistry decide your destiny. And this is what man does. He feels a wave of excitement. He says, life is beautiful. He feels a wave of sadness. He says, life is tragic. He feels loved. He says, I am complete. He feels abandoned. He says, I am broken. Do you see the absurdity? He calls the ripples truth. He mistakes the temporary for the eternal. The wise man sees it is for what it is. A movement in the body, a flicker in the mind, a shadow passing through the light. He does not cling to it. He does not push it away. He watches it. He lets it come. He lets it go. And in that seeing, he discovers something that does not come and go. Something that is not born of thought or chemistry or circumstance. That which remains when every feeling fades, that stillness, that silence, that is the only thing that is real. Everything you call a feeling, joy, sorrow, love, anger, excitement is not real. It is a ripple in your nervous system, a chemical storm in your body, a story your mind tells itself. It rises, it moves, it fades. It comes and goes. It is weather, not mountain. It is wave, not ocean. When you chase feelings, you are chasing shadows. You are living on the surface of your own biology. You are a slave, not to the world, not to circumstance, but to your own chemicals, your own nervous system, your own fleeting thoughts. You are being entertained by yourself while mistaking that for life. The intoxication of feelings seduces you, lulls you, anesthetizes you, and keeps you from seeing what is real. Every surge of pleasure, every ache of pain, every thrill of excitement is a temporary injection into your bloodstream. A cup you keep sipping, thinking it is living, thinking it is meaning, thinking it is you. Freedom comes not by suppressing feelings, not by denying them, but by seeing through them, by watching the waves without clinging, by recognizing that the self, the story, the pulse of emotion, all of it is temporary, all of it passes. And in that seeing, in that stillness, you discover what does not pass. The silence behind the storm, the vast sky behind the clouds, the reality untouched by chemistry, untouched by circumstance, untouched by thought. That silence is life itself. That silence is freedom. That silence is real. All else, the highs, the lows, the intoxications, the seductions, are shadows, passing, fading, and utterly optional. You are not the ripple, you are the space in which the ripple rises and dies. So listen, feelings are not life, they are chemical storms in your body, ripples in your nervous system, illusions your mind mistakes for meaning. They intoxicate, seduce, sedate, and lull you into a comfortable sleep, keeping you blind to what is real. To chase them is to serve your own biology, your own chemistry, your own fleeting thoughts. Every surge rises and falls. Every pleasure, every pain, every love, every anger passes. The wise man sees the waves without clinging, watches the intravenous drip of chemicals without drinking, and in that silence, he discovers freedom, reality, and the life untouched by feeling. Listen carefully and let this settle deep. You are not the ripple, you are the sky in which it passes.